Well, good afternoon and welcome to our business review for the year 2018. Basically, we're going to look at what were the top issues in the year 2018, how did it affect business people out there, what were top issues, and going forward into 2019, how would it be? 2018 is indeed an eventful year with many things happening. The biggest was the Consolidated Bank and all the banking issues. Tax stamp was also big as well, together with the MTN IPO for the telecom sector, and also the icing on the cake, we say, is the men's gold as well as the unsolved puzzle. You're welcome back again to our review of 2018 here on Joy Business. How was 2018 like for you as a businessman out there? Was it an eventful one or was quite a challenging one? Well, here at Joy Business, we're doing our own review of the 2018 year, and let's find out how it has been for you as a businessman. But I'll not be doing this alone. I'll be joined in the studio here by Toma Emere. He is a business editor with one of the leading business papers here in the country, Gold Street Business, of course, of writing. Also, Godfrey Bokpin. He is an economist. He's a financial lecturer at University of Ghana Business School. He'll be joining us very soon in the studio. So let me first, Toma, and you can join in these discussions via our various social media handles, that is at Joy Business GH on Twitter and also on Facebook as well, and also all the media platforms and also WhatsApp as well. You can participate in discussion by telling me what was the good, the bad, and the ugly, the highs and the lows for you. And going into 2019, what do you want to be looking out for as a businessman? Toma, let's start first with things that happened in the first quarter. And one we don't forget about the ExxonMobil issue. Quite a big company. We knew they wanted to be in this country all along. Now, finally, they are coming in.
Well, George, you know, that thing actually brought up a lot of controversy in terms of the relatively lenient terms they were given. But you see...
But Toma, hold on. Let me just first bring you a clip on this whole ExxonMobil issue. Then we come into the studio and Professor Bokpin is going to join us and let's continue the discussion. Let's take a look at this whole video from ExxonMobil.
This day has been a good day in the sense that we have brought into our oil space a company with the strength, the reputation and competence. And that nameplate, ExxonMobil, in our oil and gas exploration space will indeed give us a lot of credit in the industry.
We are excited to bring our technology, and as you said, you know, we have a unique place on that, and we are looking forward to working here, to opening an office here, to working with you to hopefully find and have success in this ultra deep water.
It's a good day for Ghana, and I hope it's going to be a good day for Exxon. It's been a relatively tortuous road to bring you to Ghana, but you're here. And I want to welcome you very warmly. Welcome you very warmly for two reasons. One, everybody knows about who you are and the very, very critical and significant role you play in the global energy sector. You're one of the leading lights for all kinds of good reasons: financial strength, technological capability, and the attitude and standards which are associated with your name. We're expecting those standards to be brought here to enhance the development of the Ghanaian energy sector. Looking for companies with best practices to come here and also participate in the development of our energy sector, especially enhancing the Ghanaian participation in the energy sector. I know of all kinds of things that are associated with you, Exxon, campuses, etc., and training people, enhancing their capability. We're expecting that those things will also accompany your presence here. On our part, we're going to be a loyal and faithful and strong partner. We expect you to respect the terms of the agreement. On our side, too, we will respect the terms of the agreement. We're determined to work with you to make sure that the benefits of the investment that you're going to make in our country are the benefits of the people of Ghana. Ultimately, they are the beneficiaries of what you're going to be doing, that the people of Ghana enjoy in full the benefits of this agreement. For myself, I'm particularly happy about this occasion because I think that what you represent is something that will go towards enhancing the development of our own energy industry.
So indeed, we'll start our discussions with development in the oil and gas sector. And of course, it has to do with the ExxonMobil issue. And also, let's not forget about the signing of the $2 billion barter arrangement, whether it was a loan, it wasn't a loan, with respect to the extractive sector. In other words, Professor Bokpin is an economist. He's a finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Toma Emre is a business editor with the Gold Street newspaper. Gentlemen, welcome once again as we review the year 2018. Mr. Emre, let me start with you first. Oil and gas, ExxonMobil, they're saying that when this company moves, it's like a whole economy getting into another economy.
Well, the thing, George, is that, I mean, ExxonMobil's coming to Ghana is I mean, it gives us, it's a good thing in terms of the credibility of our industry, which is still quite young. I mean, if ExxonMobil comes in, it's like a vote of confidence, you know, for everybody else, you know. But the other side of it was, I mean, the terms, the relatively lenient terms that were given, you know, to ExxonMobil, which attracted them in. It sets a precedent for other big oil and gas exploration and production companies. When they are coming in, they are going to say, look, but you did this for ExxonMobil, what about us? All right, that's one thing. And another thing that it also raised questions about the integrity with which our industry is being run. I mean, let's face it, the way the whole ExxonMobil thing went down showed that the minister is given too much power in terms of making such decisions, which, I mean, nobody is saying that there was any malfeasance in this one, but it shows that with that kind of power, it creates the possibility for malfeasance somewhere down the line if the minister chooses to be malfeasant. In terms of the fact that he was given so much power in order to adjust the terms of entry for oil and gas major.
But Toma, what would you tell those who would argue that for some of these big firms, you need to find a way to attract them in? When Exxon moves, they move with a whole lot of financial institutions, other players in the oil and gas sector, and at the end of the day, it's your economy that benefits.
Let us not overestimate the sheer power of ExxonMobil in what they are coming in to do. Tulu, at the time Tulu came into this country, Tulu was still a small-sized oil and gas company by global standard. Now, I suppose you could call it medium-sized, all right? They come in, the Jubilee find is done, and these guys move from plan of development to production in what, 42 months or less. Virtually world records amount. The fact is that it's not like Ghana has so much potential oil and gas resources that only the very biggest companies will be able to finance such things. All right. I mean, so for practical purposes, I don't think we should over-exaggerate the potential impact of ExxonMobil coming in, because whatever fines they will make, unless I'll be very surprised if they make any fines that are so large, it's only a company that has that kind of clout that will be able to move to
Toma,
production.
let me quickly bring in Professor Godfrey Bokpin. He's an economist. Let's look at on the economy side and on the finance side. ExxonMobil coming in, excellent for us. We're so excited because of how that entry would impact on the economy.
Well, I think we have to be cautious. ExxonMobil is not Father Christmas. They are not here because they love us. They love their profit. They've done the analysis. It's good for them to come. That is why they have come. But I think it's also good for us in terms of the profile that ExxonMobil has, and also in terms of the stringent reporting requirement in their home country, which perhaps also encourages them to transmit similar practices wherever they go. So for that reason, we say that it's okay. But I think that, look, the oil and gas that we have talked about and all of that, I don't think that it has really impacted our economy that much, even with the discovery and all of that. So I think we still have to be cautious. We still have to put in place the right measures to ensure that we get our fair share, even with ExxonMobil coming on board and all of that, and the local content that we are talking about and all of that. So I think that it's not the solution to all our problems. Of course, they have come in, of course, the benefit and all of that. We can discuss that and hope that they actually do happen, because these are projections and all of that. But I also want to touch on the fact that we have improved a bit as a country when it comes to the sharing of the oil blocks and all of that.
There was an auction as well, and trying to about 16 international oil firms,
and all of that.
BP and all the rest are trying to come in.
From perhaps in the time past. I think we are learning from our own shortcomings and benefiting from the learning curve, which I think is very good. But at the end of the day, if you even look at the 2018 budget, the 2019 budget, how much we are getting from the oil by way of tax revenue, it's not that significant. I mean, and then the fact that our economy is driven largely in the last couple of months by oil and gas production, hydrocarbon production, in itself, even though it may seem to be very good, but it's not inclusive. It doesn't come with a lot of job creation. So these are issues. And then also, you also want to look at where hydrocarbon production itself fits within the broader economic drive, as we also wait the birth of the fourth industrial revolution. How relevant really is oil and gas in this so-called fourth industrial revolution and all of that, as a lot of countries are migrating towards electric cars and all of that. And so I think that, and of course it has a terminal value as well. So we should be looking at building our economy in such a way that we will still be strong, whether with more oil and gas or not, is very, very important. And I think that, so whatever little that we get from oil and gas, we should be able to channel it into those subsectors of the economy that can actually drive growth and job creation. Is very, very important.
I'll get back to you as we move the discussions to the Sino Hydro deal, of course. Toma, quick point on that one before we move on and discuss the Sino Hydro deal.
The thing about oil and gas contributions is not so much the actual amount of revenue is bringing as proportion of our total revenue. It is the foreign exchange.
We need it so badly.
If you take out the foreign exchange, which comes from the oil and gas from the upstream oil and gas industry, and which finds its way to the local forex market, if you take that out of the total supply on the market, all right, you would have a significantly different exchange rate right now. That is the important. It's not the total. It's not
Prof, Bokpin also
total revenue.
Want to make a quick one, Prof? You're trying to,
Yeah, I think that fine. I respect his view on that matter. If you see the statistics in the last couple of quarters, you will see that our trade balance is positive. Ideally, that theoretically, that should be contributing to the strengthening of the local currency. That is not happening. It's largely because the service account is deficit, and it has more to do with the ownership of this foreign exchange driven by oil and gas, because most of the companies are not resident here.
Are still sending their monies outside.
I mean, they're actually keeping it outside and all of that. So we have to do a lot more to improve on the local content as a way of also ensuring, even it's not only the oil and gas, even mining companies and all of that, even with the agreement that we signed with them in terms of they repatriating some of the foreign exchange here, we are not seeing that. So we are seeing a trade balance that is positive, that should strengthen the local currency, but it's not coming because of the negative offsetting effect from.
Let's look at the Sino Hydro deal. Loan, not a loan. Was it really a big deal, or it was more of, might I do about nothing, Prof?
Yeah, I think that our view may not matter that much now, because the minority in Parliament actually took the issue to the IMF and said that you are the best marker, you are the best examiner in this matter. After our own Parliament had approved the transaction and perhaps not sure what exactly it was. But the IMF has made a pronouncement on that matter that it's not a loan and all of that. And I think that is largely consistent, because when you look at that memorandum of understanding with the current extended credit facility with the IMF, it will be very difficult to judge the transaction as a loan.
Loan or not.
Actually, as a loan.
Prof, hold on there. Let me just bring in this clip on the Sino Hydro deal, and then we'll get back into the studio for our discussion on this whole thing.
The key thing there is this.
Ghana.
The Boy Dam investment was roughly about $400 million. So that was when I was foreign minister. Now I'm president. So the arrangement should be even bigger.
所以我们之间的这个合作应该更加的广泛。
And that's why we're here today. We're very, very determined on this Sino Hydro arrangement. And we're counting on you in the way in which you work with Boy Dam, with high quality work, that will also be a feature of the arrangements that we're making with Sino Hydro. And therefore Ghana too is very keen on providing as much support as possible to make the Sino Hydro arrangement come on stream quickly. My understanding is that the agreement that was signed this morning with the Sino Shore agreement, with the signing of the agreements this afternoon that we're going to do here, will complete virtually the entire group of documentation that is required to get the Sino Hydro transaction on the way. There's great expectation in Ghana about the benefits of the Sino Hydro transaction. It is my hope and expectation that when we conclude the signing this afternoon, the way will be open for the Sino Hydro to get on site in Ghana and begin the process of delivery under the agreement. A lot of trust has been built between Ghana and Power China, and so, but the $2 billion transaction, which is involved in the Sino Hydro transaction, we're looking to increase it even more. That's why I'm saying that as president, I'm expecting that we'll have even more than before. I'm satisfied about the capacity to do it, and we will have all the support that you need from the government of Ghana.
So you heard the president there as well, giving us more details on this whole Sino Hydro deal. And Prof. Bokpin, you were making a quick point as we try to wrap up again on another critical thing that happened in 2018. Not a loan, it's a loan. We are going to benefit, you are not benefiting, and all the rest. For you, as I asked you earlier on, was it more of much ado about that thing, or the fact that as an economy we need this amount of money, therefore let's go for it?
I think we need it. I think we need it. We needed it like yesterday. That is a fact. I think the terms and the issues we are not too clear about as of now. But as of we needing that money, I think we needed it, and government needed to act quite quickly because we have a huge infrastructure deficit. We don't have the borrowing space, but how do we leverage these natural resources in a manner that is also beneficial to us? I think that is the approach that government has adopted.
Thomas, have we learned our lessons when it comes to dealing with China and also loans? We will talk about this. I hope I got it right. The CNT loan or whatever ended up in a dressmaker's office or what in London. We also have the XTC loan and all the rest. And we keep on getting caught up in these things. No, but you remember the first loan from China and what happened? Yes. Are we so desperate that we even don't go through the documents, the fine notes, and then we just append our signature?
The fact is we are desperate. But at least the situation has been improving.
Yeah.
First time around, hairdressers saloon in London. Next time around, the China Development Bank, we got part of the money. In fact, we didn't get more of it because the government of the day refused to do the right.
But we understand the Chinese, we kept on changing the terms of agreement, and that's what the Tucker said.
It was more our fault. We had overall an agreement. We had an overall agreement, but the thing contained so many different projects. And the Chinese wanted a viability study on each one separately. And we failed to provide for most of the projects. The ones we provided for, we got the money. Primarily, of course, the Atobo gas infrastructure, but there were one or two more that we actually did. We provided what the Chinese asked of the viability studies, and we got the monies. But the fact was that we didn't, to be fair, at that time, the then opposition, which is now in government, warned us about this in Parliament. I remember Dr. Akoto Osai was saying it, that look, if we don't do these individual viability studies and show the Chinese that the loans are self-amortizing, we will not get the money. And the government at that time said, and it's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened.
Are we going to get everything? Are you that optimistic going through the documents, having at your back of your mind what the Chinese can do? I am skeptical about us getting everything. I don't know about you.
I think that China itself, for its own credibility, and reputation in Africa, and Ghana for that matter, has a role to play in ensuring that this transaction actually works out.
You think they really care?
Well, they have to care because the media, civil society are becoming more assertive, following development, and also monitoring China's own strategy towards Africa and all of that. That's what is happening. So I think that China has a lot more to do. Forget about the fact that we didn't do our part well and all of that. But of course, China has a lot to do. China has a lot to do also in terms of transparency and disclosure in how they deal with Africa, not only Ghana, is very, very important. And we are all watching, not that we are so important, but we are watching from our small, wherever we find ourselves. So those are the issues. You also observe that the traditional debt market has been a bit saturated, especially for African countries. And therefore, they need to use some of these ways in accessing capital, in reducing the infrastructure deficit, seem to be appealing today, regardless of the challenges and all of that. Because I mean, the international capital market in terms of Euro bonds and the rest of them, the way they used to receive African countries, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it has changed. The premium, the cost, and all of that, they are quite a lot now.
Monetary easing has stopped.
Yes, and all of that, and also the strengthening of the U.S. economy, and then all of that normalization of monetary policy there, and all of that. So I think that these are interesting times, challenging times, but I want to believe that we are making some progress. Of course, the bauxite and all of that, once there's market, there's a willing buyer, I don't see the reason why this thing shouldn't work.
Exactly.
Okay. So, we're gonna, we have our own thing when we do the review for this year, and we have our cards in here, the gold star, our black line here. Look at the one that is keep watching. The green line is here. The red line is here. It reminds me of primary school when they used the items to actually guide us.
Our children will be wondering whether we have joined them in the kindergarten or something.
So Sino Hydro and also ExxonMobil.
I hope we are not cancelling the transaction here.
No, we are not, actually. So for ExxonMobil, I would give a gold star, and I am very optimistic, not just about the fine details of the agreement, but the fact that when ExxonMobil, they move into an economy, what they bring, you could look at some of the multinationals coming in as well. And we also understand other major oil firms from the US are also trying to come in. Could be a partnership and others. So I'll give a gold star on the ExxonMobil issue. I don't know what my guest will say, which maybe I don't matter here. You matter as well.
Okay, I'll go with this one.
And then also Thomas is also giving us a green line here.
I'm not giving it gold because, it is very, very good for Ghana. But as I said, the terms could serve as a precedent for other major countries that are coming, and that could be a problem for us. So that is what
Sino Hydro. Let me start with Bokpin. I have my own views on the Sino Hydro. Whether you are still
I was waiting to copy you actually. So by this time around, I've got to think for myself.
You cannot copy me. So let's look at whether you are still watching, whether you are skeptical, whether you are not really. Well, let's see what happens, or you are still watching the space. So a green for that one, still watching more of that space. A gold star for that. I am still watching that space because I'm a little bit skeptical about this whole arrangement and what would actually.
Okay.
George, think about it. Without this deal, 2019 will be the third successive year where we don't have any capital budget of significance. Where our infrastructure deficit, as large as it was at the time this government came in, was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Look, during the Mahama administration boasts about its record when it comes to infrastructure, but we all know how heavily we borrowed and the repercussions we are now going through in order to finance the infrastructure he did. Now these guys come in, there's no space to borrow like that. In fact, because of the debt that came to me, they couldn't even do any capital expenditure.
It's been very challenging for them.
So they had to now think outside the box in order to get this one. So for this one, even though there are certain risks attached, I think that under our circumstances, it was very well done.
I will do this.
Okay, green as well. Interesting. So, there's our review for the 2018 Joy Business. It's live on our Joy News channel, on Multi TV, and also on DSTV channel 421. And don't forget our various social media handle, that is Joy Business GH, the Twitter handle, as well on Joy997, and also on the Joy News on the Multi TV. You can also send me a tweet on my Twitter handle @JWeareFit.